Меня зовут Адель Фузайлов. Как поклонник таланта Елены Улановской, я представляю отрывок из ее произведения на английском и посвящаю его детям Украины. A patrol woman unlocked the door, flipped the switch. There was no light. Suddenly, she heard a meow. She looked around, stuck her head through the opening in the wall, went outside, returned again. The meow came from the stone and plastered basement. The woman undertook clearing the rubble. Finally, she succeeded in opening the heavy door. Debris and dust fell into darkness, and a disheveled gray kitten jumped out of the hole. She stroked him. Having found a miraculously surviving small bowl, she poured some water. After drinking a little and satisfying his thirst, the kitten returned to the open basement and began meowing frantically, almost shrieking. There's something down there. She shone a lantern into the black hole. Down on the clay floor of the basement, sprawled in the dust and rubble, face down, lay a little boy. Every child is born to be loved, nurtured, and protected. Every war is a war against children who are the innocent victims robbed of their childhood. While their physical scars may fade, the emotional wounds stay forever. Today, the whole world witnesses a devastating war in Ukraine, where neighbors attack neighbors, brothers fight brothers, soldiers murder civilians. It's again the children who suffer the most. Just like in this story about a little Ukrainian boy, Pavlik, who loses everything on his 6th birthday, the day the war started, and his hometown became a war zone. His beautiful town that was known as the city where the apricots bloomed, by Elena Ulanovski. Pavlik woke up with a feeling of happiness. Today, he turns 6 years old. He sat up in bed, looked around. It can't be. Really? Did his parents forget his birthday? Of course not. A guest will come. Oh, friends from kindergarten. There will be lots of friends and lots of presents. Pavlik jumped and climbed under the bed. Maybe there's a surprise down there. In this position, with his bottom sticking out from under the bed, he was caught by his parents. Thank God, with a gift, with a robot, just like he wanted, a remote control one. Yesterday, Mom and Dad spent the whole day watching TV. Pavlik even got worried. When will they have time to go to the toy store? Dad kept saying, "That's it. It's the end of the world. The end of the world." And Mother affectionately said to him, "Well, why are you so worried? You'll see, it will all be okay." Of course it will be okay. How could it not be if tomorrow is Pavlik's birthday? And here it is, his day. The cake that he decorated yesterday with Mom, it sits in the refrigerator. And after kindergarten, friends will come. And before that, he was promised ice cream and a movie. A new one about robots. Here you are. He will protect you. Now everyone will need their own defender. Not in front of the child, the boy's mom muttered. He's no longer a child. He is 6 years old. Pavlik was so happy. He finally turned 6. The day promised to be absolutely wonderful, and of course, not the end of the world, but the very beginning. A few hours later, Pavlik stood by the window. Explosives were flying from other buildings, from his roof of his house to the other buildings. It was fascinating to watch, almost the same as as playing a video game where they shoot down players. When Mom said they had to go down to the cellar, Pavlik rejoiced. They explained on the radio that it was safe in the cellars. Also, he heard from his mother that his father was in the cellars too. That's why he didn't come home. Suddenly, it occurred to Pavlik, the cellars down there are interconnected somehow. That way we can meet up with Papa. On the stairs, his mood improved even more as he saw their neighbors. That pretty girl coming down from the 4th floor and an elderly woman from the 5th whose cat was about to have kittens. And the cat did give birth right there in the cellar. Because of these kittens, Pavlik did not have time to check if there is a passage to the other cellars in order to find Dad. Another time, his mother said, "We will have to come back, apparently." The most important trophy of this wonderful day was that they'd taken home a kitten. The bombing had long stopped, but on TV they scared people, saying that it is still taking place in some distant cities. Then it started again. Unexpectedly, terrible thunder. They ran like crazy, and Mama held the kitten in her arms. And Pavlik was extremely worried. Of course, nothing would happen to his mother. As for himself, Pavlik runs very fast, but if the kitten twists out his mom's hand, no one would be able to find him. It'd be better if they left him at home. Behind him, something shattered. Pavlik turned around. The corner of their house was destroyed. The window where his teddy bear sat was cut off, and a huge hole gaped below. No, it's good that they took the kitten with them. And then something crazy happened. His mother waved his hands, the kitten flew out and rolled head over heels to the side. Pavlik rushed to catch him, but suddenly he saw his mother was lying on her back and did not move. Her face was so calm and under her something red, like cranberry juice spreads. "Run, kid, run!" Some man in military uniform pushed the petrified Pavlik. "Mama!" Pavlik rushed to the motionless body. "Run, I told you!" The man yelled and began to point the machine gun at Pavlik. "Run! She's not in pain anymore." Pavlik was frightened by the machine gun and ran. Having reached the corner, he looked back. The terrible man was lying on his back across the road, so that his mother was behind him and he could not see her. He probably didn't feel pain anymore either. Then the dreadful was heard again. Pavlik turned around, ran to a bus stop. He sat there until evening. He even slept for a bit until he was completely cold. When it got dark, he decided to make his way back to look for the kitten. Maybe, Pavlik thought, Mother got up and was also looking for him. That would be good if all were found at the same time. Mom was not lying on the road, and neither was that terrible military man. Suddenly, he heard a meow. Directly in front of him, as if from out of nowhere, appeared his kitten. Placing the kitten under his jacket, Pavlik ran. Then the already familiar sounds of mines were heard. Pavlik fumbled his way through in total darkness. Suddenly, losing support from under his feet, Pavlik fell into some pit. Spreading his arms in horror and forgetting that he needed to hold on to the kitten, he fell onto his hands. It was very painful. He rolled over onto his back, then on the stomach, and at that moment, there was a terrible thunder. It was as if a lid had been slammed over him, and he lost consciousness. Today, he turned 6 years old.